Motor skills are an important indicator of overall development in the first 12 months of life. There is a typical developmental sequence for motor development, and we're looking to observe and facilitate this development in infants. We can assist typical development by understanding important positioning and handling strategies during that developmental period.
We'd expect to see exploration as a big part of this stage. Because they're able to pull themselves up, they'll find the world opens up just a little bit more for them. Objects that were recently out of reach are now within range. Babies will be using their hands more precisely, and they'll be developing a pincer grasp. Babies will be transferring objects from one hand to another and are developing a controlled release of objects. This is the stage when babies will begin the dropping and throwing game. Babies might begin turning pages in a book a few pages at a time. Babies will begin making gestures to communicate, and they'll often point to an object they want. They'll be able to imitate familiar actions and sounds, and they'll begin babbling a mix of consonants and vowel sounds with varied intonation. It might start to sound like a mini grown-up conversation. Some babies will even be beginning to say their first words or making good approximations at words. In the 8 to 12 month age group, considerations for the physical environment would include hazards such as heavy objects, including televisions and computers, on surfaces as babies start to pull to stand against cabinets and desks. Because many babies in this age range will begin to transition in and out of sitting, and they might begin taking a first few steps, there needs to be plenty of designated open space away from the busyness of the other children, providing good space for babies to practice these skills. Some sturdy furniture or equipment that sit around chest height for a baby in this age range provides good opportunity for practicing pulling to stand and cruising. Provide babies with a few key pieces of equipment to play with. Don't overwhelm them with too many. Let them take some time in choosing what they want to do. More is not always better. When toys are more spaced out, babies will have more motivation to move towards them. Often babies will choose equipment found in the bottom kitchen drawer over the plastic baby toys. Make use of that and provide them with pots, baskets, spoons and smaller random items for them to practice developing their cause and effect, as well as their controlled release, like dropping objects in and taking them out. Appropriate activities for this age group would include songs involving the baby's name or songs with actions that make the baby an active participant. Songs that label body parts are always fun. Babies really enjoy busy action songs and rhymes, like Pat a Cake, This Little Piggy and Open Shut Them. It gives them opportunity to anticipate the movements and sounds. Continue playing hide and seek and peekaboo and further develop baby's understanding of object permanence. Let the child watch you hide an object and let them find it. These games address object permanence not only with toys but with people too, and can help babies develop understanding that when mum isn't with them, they're not permanently gone. Encourage families to respond to their baby's attempts to communicate. It will help teach the child that their babble has meaning. Suitable toys for this age group might include noisy sound posters, homemade toys using metal milkshake containers and plastic balls. The auditory stimuli from this has a strong sensory impact. Ring stackers are really great to introduce here. Children will be taking them apart, and for some children they'll attempt putting the rings back on together. Lollipop drums are always really fun to promote bilateral coordination. Squeaky toys to promote understanding of cause and effect and control force required to squeeze the toy. Board books for babies to explore independently, turning the pages independently, and push-button books. Scarves, including some sheer, provide good opportunity for social games such as peekaboo with a familiar adult. Some babies don't like to have their head covered in a block-out piece of material, and sheer pieces have a similar effect without being distressing to the child.
So 9 to 12 months is a really time all about movement. We're starting to learn how to move from the floor to the sitting and also up into the upright standing position, and learning to walk. We're developing postural control in a variety of positions, so in sitting and in standing and in the positions in between, and being able to reach outside our base of support and maintain our centre of gravity. So around 12 months we're developing a range of movement patterns, including the ability to get around on the floor, in and out of sitting and in and out of standing. Moving forwards on the floor in some way, usually crawling, and moving in standing independently. Learning to crawl is important. It's important that we get that weight bearing through our shoulder girdles, and it's that early patterning of reciprocal movement which is important for our skills later on. Some children will start with commando crawling, so they move in 4-point along the ground, and as they get stronger they'll usually come up into a hands and knees positions to crawl. With our hand skills are maturing as well. We're learning to reach with our wrist extended, we're learning to grasp with one hand whilst the other hand is reaching. We're using finger-based grasps which are leading to a pincer grasp. Our releases are becoming more mature, we can transfer objects from hand to hand. We continue mouthing toys, but we're also more visually guided with exploration of toys with hands. Beginning to play with container play, putting objects in and taking objects out. Our play is very exploratory and beginning to be interested in books and early imitation of play actions such as spoon to mouth, brush to hair. So how can we facilitate this during this time? It's really important that we assist an infant to get those transition movements important at this age. So that may require placing toys in a position that they're more motivated to move to that position. It might be actually facilitating their movement to those positions. It's really important that we facilitate those movements and show a child how to move in, for example, into standing, as opposed to just putting them into standing to play. We want to challenge their postural reactions in a variety of positions. We'll use appropriate toys and objects to encourage the hand skills and exploration. We'd like to give the opportunity to practice with little objects that are safe, so food play is a good one. Lots of access to sensory opportunities, playing in the sand, on grass and food play, and basic songs of rhymes with actions and books.